A study says gun sales are down across the country. Are we seeing that trend here? The Rapid City Vision Fund Citizens Committee is presenting their recommendations tonight to the City Council. And Keystone residents are voicing their concerns about a proposed power shutoff plan for the fire season. Your news starts now.
From Skyline Drive, this is KOTA Territory News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Jack Cottle. An informational meeting is held in Keystone to better prepare people for possible power shutdowns. KOTA Territory's Blake Trolley was at the meeting and has the story.
People hoping to keep their homes and businesses powered during proposed power shutoffs by Black Hills Energy to curb wildfires had their questions answered about installing generators. Sherry Smith of Keystone helped organize the meeting. She says people from both Keystone and Hill City were invited.
I'm not here to sell. I'm here to make sure we have the information we need for our community to survive this successfully, especially those with medical issues, our homes that have lifts, stair lifts that live on multiple levels, or possibly electric garage doors that are too heavy for elders to lift.
Smith detailing specific medical concerns about the shutoffs.
We have people in this area who are on oxygen that have to have power in order for their oxygen generators to work. We have people on CPACs that must have them at night.
Smith also says she worries about how the power shutoffs could affect businesses, as sales tax is a major source of city revenue. Christy Nemitz from Keystone says her #1 concern is spoiling food. Because she lives in the limited small town, she keeps a stock of food.
So I have, a refrigerator, a freezer, and a backup freezer. If power goes out for 72 hours, I'm going to lose all of that food.
Black Hills Energy says the power shutoffs will be a last resort measure. The utility says it will shut off power in high-risk fire areas during extreme weather conditions until the conditions improve. The utility says it monitors conditions 5 days ahead of time and hopes to give people plenty of forewarning before a shutoff. Back to you.
Hazy skies started off the work week. Is the smoke and haze sticking around? Meteorologist Ryan Larmew is in the First Alert Weather Center with an update of what is drifting down from Canada.
The Canadian wildfire smoke, it's back, and been back all day, Jack. You can see behind me here on Tower Cam the haze in the sky still sticking around this evening. We're still dealing with that in Rapid City. You can see it over the Black Hills here, that kind of foggy haze there off in the distance. That's all the smoke from the Canadian wildfires, and we're still seeing the light smoke around. And if you look outside, you probably think to yourself, well, this can't get any worse. Actually, it can. This is only some light smoke in the upper atmosphere, but temperatures today, they got warm, and they're still very warm this evening. Seeing 79 in Hewlett and Gillette, 77 in Spearfish, Newcastle and Wright, 83 over in Sheridan, 82 in Buffalo. Zooming into the Black Hills, downtown Rapid City, we're at 79, and a clear radar is for our First Alert Doppler radar, but we have sunshine and clear skies remaining for the rest of the evening, along with that haze as temperatures drop into the 60s. But when is that haze going to be drifting off? I'll be telling you that coming up.
Thank you, Ryan. According to a study done by safehome.org, estimated gun sales have declined nationwide since the pandemic. Our Adrian Carbajal spoke with the head of sales at Sturgis Guns to see if they're feeling those effects as well.
According to a study done by safehome.org, an estimated 16.1 million firearms were sold in the U.S. in 2024, down 3.4% from 2023, and it is expected to drop another 4% in 2025, according to projections for this year. The head of sales at Sturgis Guns, Brock Green, told KOTA Territory News that while they have seen slow days since 2020, they haven't felt the same impact, and shared why he believes his store is staying ahead of the curve.
We also really set ourselves up for the right circumstances to kind of know and kind of understand if the political climate changes, how it changes, where it changes to kind of know to come through and be like, okay, let's sell this, let's change this up, let's carry different things, different brands.
Green noted he has actually seen an uptick in sales for suppressors in the Black Hills, and he believes this increase can be linked to local suppressor manufacturers and hunters in the area.
There's surprisingly a lot of different manufacturers in the Black Hills area, multiple manufacturers that build suppressors around here, which is quite nice. A lot more people are using them for hunting. Suppressors are really getting big in the hunting world just because of once you get a shot off, you don't scare off everything on that side. So yeah, it kind of helps out on that side.
Green added while the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally brings in more foot traffic, his store doesn't necessarily see a big increase in gun sales during that time, but is hoping to change that with the new gun rally at this year's event in August. For more information on the upcoming Sturgis Gun Rally, visit our website, KOTATV.com. Reporting in Sturgis, I'm Adrian Carbajal.
The Rapid City Council is holding a special session tonight to hear recommendations from the Vision Fund Citizen Committee on which projects should receive public funding. 29 project proposals were submitted for the 2025 to 2029 funding cycle. The Citizens Committee identified 14 projects to recommend with more than $12 million requested. The Vision Fund was established shortly after the 1972 flood, which occurred 53 years ago today. Project proposals recommended by the Citizens Committee this year come from Parks and Recreation, the Ignite Soccer Club, and the Rapid City Fire Department. KOTA Territory's Brad Walton will tell us about tonight's special session on KOTA Territory News at 9 on Fox and KOTA Territory News at 10 on ABC. A 19-year-old Pierre native and enrolled member of the Oglala Sioux Tribe announced over the weekend that he's running for office, not for a university club or even city council, but for governor. KOTA Territory's Grant Green introduces us to Robert Arnold.
Arnold could make some history from this campaign. If he collects the 1,231 signatures needed to qualify for the ballot, it would make him the youngest candidate for governor in U.S. history. He's also Oglala Lakota and enrolled with the Pine Ridge Reservation, which means a win for him would make him the first Native American governor in South Dakota history.
There's just been so much hate and division, and we need to have somebody who really cares about the people and local communities to revitalize our rural communities and get small businesses back up and running, you know.
Arnold says the biggest issues he is running on are affordable housing, tribal and community safety, and property tax reform. Arnold is confident he can use these issues to take on the odds stacked against him.
If the outcome, turns out to be a Republican winning, then that is to be expected with the state. I do think I can help get more votes by being a common sense pro-community candidate.
Former Sioux Falls Mayor Rick Noby, the youngest elected at 27 years old, says focusing solely on the campaign issues will give him a puncher's chance in the fight.
Today's politicians, they're all about demeaning other people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But if he goes back to quote the old-fashioned way, here's my issues, here are my proposed solutions to these issues, that's gonna help him.
Arnold becomes the first Democratic candidate for governor and cross-party opponent of candidates John Hanson, South Dakota's Speaker of the House, and Aberdeen businessman Toby Doden. In Sioux Falls, Grant Green, KOTA Territory News.
Attention hikers, bikers, and walkers. A popular trail in KOTA Territory is closing a section down for maintenance. Starting today, city park crews will be trimming trees along the Flume Trail along Rapid Creek, running from near the Aberest Law Firm at Mountain View Road and Omaha Street to Founders Park. The trail will be closed for several weeks, and the city is asking people to use other nearby trails during this time. For more information or questions, call the City Parks Department at 605-394-4175. National Guard firefighters are getting some very realistic training today. We'll take you to Ellsworth Air Force Base to see how training doesn't get much more realistic than this. That's up next on KOTA Territory News at 5:30. Putting out a plane crash fire can be challenging and dangerous, which is why both the South Dakota and Nebraska National Guard want to ensure their fire teams are up for the task. Our Brian Savage was at Ellsworth Air Force Base today to witness the Ellsworth Fire Department's annual fire training.
Wednesday morning, large smoke plumes engulfed the air surrounding the west side of Ellsworth Air Force Base. It wasn't a real emergency. The smoke was part of the Ellsworth Fire Department's fire training, which included both the South Dakota and Nebraska National Guard.
This is exciting, challenging, and real-world training that the soldiers enjoy doing, and this is what prepares us best for when real-world fire emergencies take place.
Approximately 30 fire personnel from the Guard were put through a real-life down aircraft fire simulation. Fire crews were seen in trucks working to put out the fires as quickly as they could.
This is it's especially useful when you have a large fire that you can't really approach very well on foot, so you kind of knock it down a little bit, and then you're able to get a little bit closer and then pull the hand lines off, and then you can do some more work once you get off.
On windy days like Monday, Spencer says the wind can pose as a challenge, but it can also be used as a tool.
In this case, we fight upwind of the fire, and it helps us push the fire to a certain spot. Then you can target it better.
We got a bunch of fuel spilled in there, and then we always try to push it away from the civilians' escape route. So we'd go from the front of the plane, pushing it to the back, using the wind kind of to our advantage.
Walton says this is the first time both the South Dakota and Nebraska National Guard fire teams have collaborated here on base.
It's allowed us to work alongside the South Dakota firefighter teams, get to know them and build that connection as well.
Through the training, Walton wants to ensure soldiers can evaluate a fire scene and communicate effectively and are familiar with the materials and equipment they're working with. Reporting from Ellsworth Air Force Base, for KOTA Territory News, I'm Brian Savage.
Meteorologist Ryan Larmew said that smoke and haze are poised to continue. He tells us when it clears out next in your accurate First Alert forecast.
Now, the First Alert forecast with meteorologist Ryan Larmew.
A warm, sunny, and hazy start to the work week. We're 82 degrees in downtown Rapid City right now. That smoke and haze still over the Black Hills, along with a few bugs here flying in front of our tower cam, our Golden West weather cam here up on Skyline Drive. Temperatures right now in the 70s and 80s, 77 in Faith and in Spearfish, 79 in Hewlett and Newcastle, 80 in Gillette, 83 over in Sheridan, and those temperatures in and around the Black Hills generally in the 70s. A few spots in the foothills are in the 80s, 80 at Sturgis and at Piedmont, 81 in Beulah. Belfouche sitting at 78 degrees, but throughout the rest of the evening, Rapid City, we stay in the 70s until around sunset. Then we'll drop into the 60s. Clear skies, not really too many clouds to talk about tonight, but the smoke and haze do continue through the rest of the evening. And then we also see the smoke and haze tomorrow morning. As we're waking up, temperatures are going to be mild in the 50s at 4 and 5 a.m., 60s at 6 and 7. Then we're in the 70s at 8 and then all the way into the 80s at 9 o'clock. We're still a little hazy. Sunshine does continue throughout the morning tomorrow, but it's going to be a very warm to even hot day out there as we'll see sunny skies continue. Hazy conditions are likely throughout the day tomorrow. Mostly sunny to completely sunny skies. We're hot at 91 degrees. It's going to be a summer-like day for your Tuesday, so bring those shorts out with you as you head off and go about your day. Throughout the rest of the evening, we're continuing with the moderate smoke across much of KOTA territory in the upper atmosphere, but as we head throughout the overnight hours into tomorrow morning, we're still dealing with that in much of western South Dakota. By Tuesday afternoon and evening, we could see a little bit of a resurgence of that moderate smoke, but light smoke still remains throughout much of the area. And good news is by Wednesday morning, much of that smoke starts to dissipate and we start to see some lighter smoke to no smoke at all take over in the forecast. As we head throughout the hour forecast, we're talking about plenty of sunshine for tomorrow. A few isolated thunderstorms possible in and around the Black Hills and in northeast Wyoming. This is tomorrow evening, but as we head throughout your Wednesday, more thunderstorms are possible, especially in parts of northeast Wyoming, southeastern Montana, maybe drifting into northwestern South Dakota. I think much of western South Dakota, though, we stay dry Wednesday afternoon and evening, but a few of those storms could transfer over into the state, and by Thursday morning, more showers and even storms by the afternoon are possible. For Wednesday, we have a level 1 out of 5 marginal risk in effect for much of northeast Wyoming and much of southeast Montana. Places like Gillette, Sheridan, Hewlett, Sundance, all included in this level 1 out of 5 risk. Some larger hail is possible throughout the area. Clear skies are likely overnight, but we're still hazy as temperatures drop into the 50s and a few spots staying in the 60s. For tomorrow, those temperatures rise into the 80s and 90s across the area. We're 91 in Sturgis and Rapid City. A few spots on the plains flirting with the triple digits. Phillips at 98, Dakota at 97, but on the flip side, Sheridan and Buffalo both at 86 tomorrow. We're hot and sunny with lingering haze throughout the day. A few thunderstorms possible in the hills in Wyoming tomorrow afternoon and evening, but thunderstorms really start to ramp up towards the middle of the work week. Wednesday and Thursday, temperatures back in the 70s in Rapid City and many other locations, but lots of thunderstorms. The haze out of here by Wednesday.
I might drive out to Phillip if it's going to be 100 out there.
I know you'd love that. I wouldn't.
All right. Thank you very much. Well, this past Saturday saw more than 6,000 hikers head to the Crazy Horse Memorial for the annual Spring Volts March. Admission to the race was waived for those who donated a minimum of 3 cans of food per person to the KOTA Care and Share food drive. According to officials with the Crazy Horse Memorial, about 18 pallets or 13,500 pounds of food was raised through the drive. All proceeds from the drive will benefit the downtown Rapid City nonprofit Church Response. For those who did not get the chance to participate in this weekend's Volts March, you'll have another chance to do so in the fall on September 28th. Coming up, the Broncos are set to start mini camp tomorrow. And did you see this? The Hard Hats played in the championship game last night. Noah Miller has that and more in KOTA Sports.
Good evening. This past weekend was a busy one with tons of baseball being played, but the attention now shifts to some football, specifically the Broncos. But first, in case you missed it, the Hard Hats were in the championship game this past weekend. Colton Morlang on the mound for the Hard Hats, and this ball gets put in play that would bring in the runner from third to give the Troopers the lead. The Hard Hats would go with a pitching change next. Now on the bump, Broden Sales. He gets into a bit of a pickle with bases loaded and walks a run in. The Troopers just adding insult to injury now. The Troopers add another run with this hit up the middle that is cut off by the second baseman in the flip to the bag. Won't be in time. But they do get the runner caught off third and get him out on the tag, but a run does score. It is now 6-2 Troopers. The Hard Hats put the ball in play a ton last night, but the result was like this, right at someone and an out. The final play of the game went like this. A deep fly ball to left field that the left fielder was able to track down for the out, and the Sheridan Troopers are crowned champions of the tournament with a 6-2 win over the Hard Hats. I caught up with the Hard Hats coach after the loss.
Well, you know, Colton Morlang really pitched well. We wasted a good pitching performance by him. We just didn't show up at the plate. We had 5 hits, and other than those 5 at-bats, there was really no fire, there was no aggression, there was no malice. You know, we just kind of wandered through the game, and, you know, we're 22-2 now. You know, we know we're going to lose at some point. I just wish we'd have had a little more fire at the plate. Pitching is, you know, we're still throwing the ball really well. We're playing good defense. You know, hitting, we just need to clean that up. We need to go up there and like I said, just swing the bats with anger and have a plan and execute the plan at the plate.
Mandatory minicamp is set to begin for the Broncos tomorrow, which means we are one step closer to watching this team compete on the field. Sophomore quarterback Bo Nix hoping to avoid that sophomore slump. Last year, he was flying under the radar as a rookie, but after a great year that included 29 passing touchdowns, second all-time by a rookie quarterback, he also led his team to the playoffs, becoming one of just 11 quarterbacks to do so, along with Jaden Daniels. Nix is also entering his second year with Sean Payton as his head coach, making him feel more comfortable under center. The Broncos also buffing up on the defensive side of the ball, drafting a corner with their first-round pick to pair him up with 2024 Defensive Player of the Year and Patrick Surtain. This pick might seem confusing since they already have a great corner, but the Broncos were actually 19th in passing defense, even though they were 7th overall. So making sure this defense is ready to go is important, and this team overall that has high hopes for this season. After minicamp, players will take a summer break until they have to report for training camp in late July.
All right, sounds good. Thank you very much, Noah. Well, kids get a deep dive into the art world today at the Rapid City Library. We'll take you there after the break.
Be sure to tune in to KOTA Territory News at 6 on Fox. Salmonella is still making hundreds of thousands of people sick each year. We'll show you how to protect your family. Plus, we'll show you a piece of Native American history that you may not know about. Those stories and more are at 6 on Fox.
Well, it was anything but a quiet afternoon at the Rapid City Public Library today as children in Rapid City embrace the freedom of coloring outside the lines. Our Zeta Jones has the story.
Picture a room full of faces, some with sideway eyes, oversized noses, and funky colors. That was today's scene at the Rapid City Public Library's Picasso Portrait Party.
They will roll a dice, and based on the dice, they will be able to choose the style of face shape, eyes, nose, mouth, ears that they will put on. And it's just a fun way to get creative and for everyone to have a unique design that they get to take home.
Today's event was part of the library's summer reading program, allowing children to embrace the freedom to color outside the lines.
Our summer reading theme this year is Color Our World, so we're taking that as a great chance for us to explore different art, different cultures, artists from all around the world and throughout history, and then making it a fun experience for kiddos as well.
These kinds of craft events are being held every Monday at the library this summer, and for a full list, go to our website. Reporting in Rapid City, Zeta Jones, KOTA Territory News.
That's it. Do art the way you want to do art.
I colored outside of the lines as a kid.
I am not surprised in the least.
Hey, it made for a pretty picture all the time.
Absolutely.
You know what is making for a pretty picture tonight, though?
The weather?
The weather. The smoke and the haze, guys. And that's lasting throughout the entire night, too. We have clear skies in the forecast, but that haze still sticking around. 50s and 60s across KOTA Territory tonight. 61 in Sturgis, but 57 in Keystone and Rapid City. Tomorrow, Jack's kind of day, 90s in Rapid City, 91 degrees here, but we're 84 in Sundance and 88 in Gillette. Hot and sunny throughout the day, and the haze looks to stick around for the day tomorrow.
Those lazy, hazy, crazy days of summer.
Exactly.
All right, we'll see you tonight at 10.
Thanks for watching KOTA Territory News, your local news and weather authority.